my people, it's me, Anja. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new recently video. So, the first book on this list is called This Is All Your Fault. This book is a YA contemporary and it follows 3 teens who must work together to save their indie bookstore, and it's set over the course of one day. I really enjoyed this book. I ended up rating it 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it much more than I was expecting to. I think I've read previous books by this author and that's why I had lower expectations. But I really enjoyed that this story was voice-driven. Each voice of each of the 3 characters felt distinct, and there was never a point in time where I mixed any of them up for each other, or a time where I preferred one character over somebody else. You know what I mean? And I really liked how they were all united. They were all united by one common goal. I don't know if that's like a trope, but I really like it when all of the characters have a common goal. It's one of my favorite tropes, if you know what I mean. So basically, I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 3.5 stars. I liked that their friendship and how it evolved over time, you know what I mean? So anyway, this book was solid. It was good. I gave it 3.5 stars. The next book on this list is called The Voting Booth, written by Brandy and Colbert. This is another YA contemporary and it follows 2 teens as one encourages the other to vote. I enjoyed this book. I ended up giving it 3 stars. Out of all of Brandy Colbert's books that I've read, other than this one I've read, The Only Black Girls in Town and A Little and Lion, I would say that honestly I enjoyed this one the least. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the social commentary. I like the action-packed, fast-paced plot. But I wasn't really emotionally connected with the characters. The romance felt really rushed, kind of insta-lovey, but not really, if you know what I mean. And yeah, I don't think that Brandy Colbert deserves all the hype that Andy Thomas and Elizabeth Acevedo get. But I do think that she is an underrated YA contemporary author. I just don't think that this work was her best. You know what I mean? Little and Lion is definitely 100% superior. But it was a good, solid story. Like I said, the social commentary is really, really important, especially now. I think that it is so important to use your voice in any way possible. You know, I try to do that. I try to spread awareness and address, controversial topics with my YouTube videos. I don't even know how much coverage my videos get, but you never know who you're going to reach. So with that sense, I mean, I think that this story is good and solid. I just don't think that it's all that. You know what I mean? So anyway, there's that. The next book on this list is called 3 Keys, written by Kelly Yang. For those who don't know, this is a middle grade contemporary sequel to Front Desk, which I read last year. I enjoyed this book. I gave it 3.5 stars. I think that what happened with this book, since I gave Front Desk 4 stars, is that my expectations for this book were a little bit too high, and this book didn't really live up to those expectations, although I did really enjoy the themes of friendship and immigration, because I think that is so important to learn about at a young age. I don't really know what about this story didn't really live up to my expectations. I think I was expecting it to be so much better than Front Desk, and it really wasn't. And honestly, I think that the story would have been better if it was in Lupe's. Lupe's? Is that how you say her name? Anyway, I think it would have been better if it was in her perspective instead of Mia's. Just because I felt like Mia was the bystander in the story instead of really being the main character, which sounds weird because she is the main character, you know what I mean? So I just felt like she was the bystander in all of the main conflict and most of the story. I mean, some of the storyline did center on her, but I feel like the majority of it, the bulk of it, didn't. So I felt like the story could have been stronger if it was in her friend's perspective instead of hers. You know what I mean? So basically what I'm trying to say is that if Kelly Yang wrote more about Mia, I'm not sure if I would read it. You know? So anyway, I gave this book 3.5 stars. The next book on this list is called Black Brother, Black Brother. This book is a middle grade contemporary and I gave it 4 stars. It follows Dante, who's a young black boy in a biracial family. As you can see from the cover, that's his brother who's white, and they have a white dad and a black mom. And anyway, it follows him as he trains for a fencing competition. other kids at school wish that he could be more like his white brother because he's one of the few black kids at their school. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was so well done and eloquent. I really enjoyed the social commentary. Dante's family dynamic is really underrepresented, and it was just so well done, and it felt so realistic. Dante was a great character. I really enjoyed like the fast-paced, action-packed plot. Like this book was done so well. This is basically like the middle grade version of Punching the Air, which you guys know is a very high compliment because I love that book so much, and this book clearly like exceeded my low expectations. I wasn't really expecting much from this book at all, and it was just so good, and I just really enjoyed it because I think that it is so timely and so important, and it's just so like nice to have a story like this for middle grade. You know what I mean? Like I wish that I read this when I was like 12 years old or 11 or 10 or 9 or something, to just know that somebody else can relate to me. You know what I mean? So anyway, I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. The last book on this list is called Magic, Dark and Strange, written by Powell. I think that's how you say her last name. Anyway, this is a YA historical fantasy, and it follows Catherine, who has the ability to raise the dead, and how she uses this ability to stop a series of murders. I enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. I enjoyed the action-packed, fast-paced plot. Catherine was a very realistic character. I enjoyed the world building. The only thing that I like disliked about this book is that it felt very short, and I wish that it had been longer, just so that there would have been like more opportunity to explore more things in this book. Like for example, the consequences of magic. Like don't get me wrong, I like that there were established consequences of magic. I just felt like they weren't like explored to the full potential that they could have been. You know what I mean? It felt like the story wrapped up very quickly because it just felt very short to me. But don't get me wrong, I did really enjoy it, and I think this is a very like underrated YA fantasy. I think that historical fantasy is underrated itself as a genre, but like I didn't hear anybody talk about this book before its release date or on its release date or even afterwards. You know what I mean? And that's how you know that it's underrated, if you don't hear about it on any bookish platforms before now. You know what I mean? I just really enjoyed the world building, and I would recommend this book to anybody who like enjoyed Stalking Jack the Ripper or something like that. You know what I mean? So anyway, overall I did really enjoy this book. I gave it 4 stars because it was a solid, like almost cozy book. You know? Like normally, typically I'm not a huge fan of like necromancy, but this story did it well without making it like creepy or anything like that. Like it felt really good. You know? I don't know if that makes any sense, but basically I really enjoyed this book, and I think that it deserves more hype. So in conclusion, my favorite book out of this list was definitely Black Brother, and my least favorite one was The Voting Booth. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below if you've read any of these books. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.